everybody. It is Sunday and it's the start of another reading vlog. So I thought I would just start it off with letting you know what I'm currently reading and what I'm hoping to get to during the week. So the books that I'm currently reading are Night Shift by Alex Finley. This is the e-arc that I have gotten. And I am behind because it came out March 1st, but I was kind of saving it for March Mystery Madness because that was a 2-word title, and it was the second book that the author has written. And so I am excited to get into this one, and I'm 44% into it. I really liked Every Last Fear. This one feels a tad bit slower in the beginning to me, so I'm not quite as invested in it right at this point, but I have a feeling that something is going to bust wide open at any moment, and I'm going to be like, what? Because that seems to be kind of how this author does his books. Like, there's several different points of views. You're following the survivor from 1999's catastrophe, then you've got the 2015 survivor, and then you've got an FBI agent, and you've got a man who is kind of involved in things that happen because of his brother. And so you're kind of like following them and their perspectives on what's going on in the present day, which is the 2015 type of setting. So it's interesting, but you just kind of got to go through it, kind of got to wrap it all in and everything to see exactly at the end. And usually with thrillers, you're going to be like, what? At the end. And yeah, so I'm excited to get more into this. So I'm hoping my goal is to finish it by tomorrow. So we'll see. Okay, so not on my TBR. Deadly Editions by Paige Shelton. It is the latest book in the Scottish Bookshop mystery series. I really enjoyed this series. It's a lot of fun. It is set in Scotland, which is something that I absolutely love. And it's got a little kind of magical whimsy, kind of, because a lot of times the main character can get like quotes from books like kind of float into her head and things like that. And so I have absolutely no clue what this one is about. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So this one is where the main character, Delaney, gets a kind of a mysterious letter from somebody who has an invitation for her to go and view some books that I don't know if somebody has died and they're selling them or what, but they're a bunch of probably pretty rare and antique kind of books, and that's the kind of things that they deal with at the bookshop. And so her boss, he's kind of let her have the reins, and he's kind of like semi-retired, so he's not really there a lot anymore. He has his late in life love interest, and he's been doing a lot of things with her, but she calls him and asks him if he knew anything about that, and she's like, he's like, no, I don't know, but you should go to this, and just no price limit. If you see something that you think we should have for the bookshop, then you grab it and stuff. So I'm kind of curious to see what is going to happen when she goes to the meeting and what dead body pops up. But yeah, I really like this, and it wasn't on my TBR, but since I saw it at the library, I had to grab it. So I have decided to put The Killing Floor on hold for right now because the Aurelium Gear Up readathon for the Magical Readathon isn't till the 14th, the week of the 14th, I think it is. And so I don't want to read too much more on it because that's cheating a little too much. So I'm going to put it on hold for a little while and not pick it up until then, because it is supposed to be for one of my prompts, and then I'll read it that week. But anybody who is doing the group read with me, you feel free to read it whenever. I don't really put a date on anything. Everybody reads at their own pace, and I don't want anybody to feel like they can't get it in a certain time frame. So yeah, so just read it whenever you want to, and we'll just discuss it, in my Discord. And if you would like to join my Discord, I will put a link down below, and you can join in. It's not too late to join in. So instead of doing that one this week, I'm going to do Rules of Prey by John Sanford. It's the first book in the Lucas Davenport series, and I am super curious about this series. I feel like a bad mystery reader because I haven't read a lot of these older series that like everybody's caught up with because they've been reading them since they like first come out. And now there's like, 20 or 30 books in the series. And I think that's always intimidated me because they've had so many. But I didn't always read mysteries all the time. I'm a very moody reader, and I have like these mood swings when it comes to genres. And so like I've went from like a full-time romance reader to a horror reader to like mystery and horror to I just let me read middle grade, and I just move all over the place. So I've missed out on a lot of these because I didn't read a lot of mysteries back when these came out. So when did these come out? Yeah, like 1989. So I was little when these came out. Not like little, but I was probably just starting high school. So they weren't on my radar at that time. And I will say back then, I read a lot of true crime and not a lot of mysteries. True crime and horror. That was probably my thing back whenever I was a teenager. So I am interested in trying this series out to see if I like it or not. I have this one and the second book on my TBR for doing the 2x2, doing 2 books from the same series. So there's that. Also, I want to read my second book for this one, which is Mr. Limoncello's Library Olympics. I read the first one last week, and so I'm going to read the second one this week. So that'll be my 2 books from the same series. My only problem is I absolutely love the first one, and if I love this one, I may want to just read all of them in the series, and there's only like 5. So I may go way off the TBR. And this is on my SAS list, actually. It was on my, we had the 2020 and 2, and I picked 2 middle grade series to read from the first book to catch up with it or to finish it. And this was one of those series, so it's very tempting. But anyway, I don't know what this one is about, but the first one was just absolutely hilarious. And it says, Mr. Limoncello has invited kids from across America to compete in the first ever Library Olympics. Will it be fun? Hello, it's a limoncello. But something suspicious is going on. Books are missing from the library. Between figuring out mind-boggling challenges, Kyle and the other kids will have to band together to get to the bottom of this mystery. Now it's not just a game. Can Mr. Limoncello find the real champion of libraries? So, yeah, it says more laugh out loud fun from this author. And, the first one made me giggle, so I can't wait to dig into this one. So that's the books that I am currently have on my radar. Oops, I forgot one. I always do. Okay. I am also listening to Totally Pawstruck by Sophie Ryan. I've got like 3 hours left of that, so I will get that one finished up real quick. But yeah, so I do still have that one. It is the latest book in the Second Chance cat series, so not only is it 2 words, but it has second in the title of the mystery, so I thought that was kind of cool. And so, yeah, that's all the books that I'm currently in the middle of. And I will come back on here whenever I have finished something or have something of interest to say. Hello, everybody. It's 3:30 on Sunday. And I've popped back on here because I finished Totally Pawstruck by Sophie Ryan. And I thought I would come on here and let you know what I thought. It's the 9th book, I believe, in the Second Chance Cat series, and one of my favorite series. So I knew I was going to like it, and it's always just fun being back with the gang there. You've got Sarah, who runs the, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a trash to treasure type store. They refurbish a lot of things. And then you have the Charlotte's Angels, who are a group of older sleuths, and they're a lot of fun. And then you've got Mac and Nick and all those in there. It's just a lot of fun. And in this one of their friends, Stella, is accused of murder because she is seen at the scene of the crime by the body holding the murder weapon. So, I mean, but uh, as they don't think she done it, and so they're going to try to figure it out. And it turns out that the guy, he's pretty nasty, and um, there's a lot of people that have it out for him, actually. So there was a lot of suspects. I didn't really try to figure this one out. I just kind of let it kind of run its course and listen to it. I do that on occasion when it's like one of my favorite series. I just get wrapped up into what's going on, and I don't really pay that much attention. But I really enjoyed it. I give it 4 stars. It's a lot of fun. And I don't know if you all have ever met my baby, but this is Dresden. And we're having some storms right now. And she don't like storms, and she's a little scared. So when I come over here, she wanted to come with me. And this fuzzy face is getting a haircut on Wednesday. So she will look totally different whenever I get her haircut. But yeah, it became a really nasty little storm there for a minute. It was pouring down rain really hard. And I don't know if you can hear it, but there's some thunder. It's a little grumbly out. But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to come on here and tell you that I had finished that. And I will pop back on here when I finish something else. Hello everybody, it is Monday, and I thought I would pop on here because I have finished a book. I finished Night Shift by Alex Finley, and this is an e-arc that I had, and it's already out. It came out March 1st. Heard a lot of good things about it, and I was really curious. I really liked Every Last Fear, and I liked this one, but I think I liked Every Last Fear a little bit more. And I think that's because it held my interest a little bit more during the beginning when we're doing the build up to like the last section where it gets really wild. And this one, it has, there's 2 different incidents. In 1999, there was a murder that took place, like a mass murder in this Blockbuster, but there's one survivor. And then so many years later, it's 2015, and they've had another incident that's almost exactly the same, and it was at an ice cream shop instead, and there was still one survivor. And you find out through all these different like the timelines, and kind of goes back and forth sometimes, and you also have like you're following like 4 different point of views and things like that there are some similarities. And the guy that was supposed to have been the killer of the first one, the Blockbuster, he ended up getting away, and they never found him, so he's like always been gone, so they don't know what happened to him. But they're starting to wonder about like, well, did he come back because of this second one that was so similar to that one? And so that gets the FBI involved, and you have Agent Keller's point of view, where she's trying to decide if this guy is back and everything, and how it kind of goes with the current timeline. And yeah, it was pretty interesting. I will have to say that I did guess one of the key like twists fairly early on. I just had a feeling, sometimes you can just pick something up and you just have this feeling. But I will say that there was still enough like twist and things that I didn't see coming. There was another thing that I knew, but I guessed like wrong on some of it. And so it still had enough that I felt it was interesting. And once you get past that like 50% mark and stuff starts to like come together, it's like one after another, you kind of get these things that are coming together. It does really picks up a lot, and you get really curious about what's going to happen next. What are you going to figure out? What things did you see that maybe you can put together, or maybe you think afterwards, man, I should have thought of that, and stuff, and gets put together. And it is quite a wild ride to the end and everything. There was a little bit of a sad moment that I was not anticipating, but yeah, it was pretty good, and I did like how it ended, and like I think I think I would have liked a little bit more on the wrap up of what happened, like with the bad guy, I guess. I don't know, but other than that, I really liked it, and so I gave it 4 stars. I think I gave Every Last Fear 5 stars, which is why I said I didn't quite like this one quite as much. But it was still very enjoyable, and I look forward to what this author's going to do with his 3rd book, because he seems to do very well with timelines, to me anyway. I'm not real big on timelines, like the back and forth kind of things, and like a lot of multiple POVs, but he seems to put them together rather nicely and everything, so I am curious to see what he will come up with next. And so, because I finished that ebook, I am going to add an ebook, and this is a cozy mystery that I have been looking forward to giving a try, and it's Homicide in Hardcover by Kate Carlisle. It's the first book in the Bibliophile series. It is one of the books on my 20 new series that I would like to try in 2022. So I am excited to get into this one. I have no clue what it's about, except for it's it's the Bibliophile mysteries. It's about books. Hopefully I like it, because one of my favorite kind of cozies is the one set around books and bookstores and libraries and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy this. Also, I would like to continue with Rules of Prey today and get into this one. I started it yesterday, but I didn't get very far, probably like a couple pages. So I would like to try this one today. It's another one that's on my list of new series to try in 2022. So I'm really hoping I'm going to like this one. And I have this one on audiobook, so I will listen and follow along and see what happens. Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday, a little after 5 in the afternoon, and I thought I'd pop on because I went ahead and listened to Mr. Limoncello's Library Olympics by Chris Grabenstein. It is the 2nd book in the Mr. Limoncello's Library series, and it was super cute. It had the same characters from last time. It has Kyle and his friends, and this time it's got some new ones. Plus, they're like Nemesis, Charles. I can't remember what his name is. Charles. Oh, it's something. But anyway, he's kind of like, he's the sore loser pretty much, because he didn't win in the first book, and so he is kind of taking it upon himself to try to get people to not like the library, Mr. Limoncello's library, because of all the like outlandish things that they do at the library. And if he knows if he can get his mother on board, then she likes those kind of social things and will shut down things. And so that is what he tries to do. Well, Mr. Limoncello decides to have Library Olympics, and he's going to invite all these people from around the world, or whatever, the states. I don't remember exactly, but anyway, all these different libraries can, like, if you're kids, if you're really good at it, you can try out at your libraries for these, and like the best of the best get to come and do the Library Olympics. And so there's like, I think 4 different teams, and Kyle, since they were the ones that won, him and his team won last time, they're one of the teams. And basically Charles is just jealous because they won and get to be on all these commercials, and so he's trying to knock them off their pedestal, but he can't be in the like Olympics or whatever, so he's trying to come from like the outside, I guess, and try to bring them down. Then some books start to go missing and all these things, and some bad things happen, and Kyle and them have to try to figure out what's going on. And so yeah, it was really cute. I liked it. and I give it 4 stars, just like the first one. So I have read 2 books from this series, so that's my 2x2 there for that. And I am still working on Rules of Prey by John Sanford, and I've made a little ways into it, and I am enjoying it so far, but to be honest, not a whole lot has happened. I mean, so far we've gotten more of the killer than we have of Lucas Davenport, so I haven't really got a good hold on who he is really. Yeah, I get the beginning, and you can tell it's definitely dated. It's from like 1989, and I know some people would say that it's pretty dated because in the beginning, like, I'm not well, there is this a killer on the loose, and I think they suspected Lucas Davenport of having something to do with it or something, is what I'm gathering, because they had the internal affairs where they were like staking him out, and he knew that there were people watching him, so like he wouldn't do anything. He would just like sit there on a bench and do nothing, and they'd have to, and as long as he stayed there, they had to stay there, and so he would stay there as long as he could, and it was not very good for the people that were staking him out, because then like one of them had to go to the bathroom really bad, and they're like, well, he can't go now because he could move or whatever. And so, and the one guy's like, if you get out and he moves, then I'm gonna have to like follow him, and you're gonna be stuck here, and you're not, you're gonna get in trouble. So it was kind of funny. But those eternal affairs, they didn't have names. It was Fat Cop and Thin Cop, and so it's dated, and I know some people would probably take offense to that, but it didn't bother me any. And the killer has these rules, and one of them is never kill anyone you know, and another one was never take a weapon after it's been used. And that was like one of the ladies that had been killed had a knife still in her, so like he didn't, never take a weapon after it's been used. So since he used that weapon, he left it there. And so he's got all these like rules of prey. So he's got all these rules that he follows and everything. And I think they have decided that they want Lucas to look into things after they decided that he didn't have anything to do with anything. It had to do with a missing gun, I think it was, from the evidence place or whatever, and for some reason they thought that he might have took it. He finds out who takes it, and he wants to know why and what happened so that he can just trace it, but he's like, I'm not going to tattle on you or anything. I just want to know why, because it was a cop and everything, and he just wanted to, so he could kind of trace it to see where it might have went from whenever he took it or whatever. So I just haven't really got a good grasp on like who Lucas Davenport is per se. I just know that he is like a cop, and that's pretty much it. So I'm almost 100 pages into it, and it is the first book in the series. So basically, I feel like I'm going to be learning a lot about Lucas Davenport in this one, and we're just kind of gradually. It's not been like super fast paced or anything, but so far it's not bad. And I am in the middle of some other books too, because I want to read all the books, and so I'm having a hard time like staying away from all the books. I've even got some that I didn't have on my TBR. So I am like currently working on quite a few books. So I have the audiobook going for Deadly Editions by Paige Shelton. I haven't gotten very far. I've listened to like 3 chapters. So it's just kind of like a nighttime listen. And I do have one ebook going, which is Homicide in Hardcover by Kate Carlisle. It's the first book in the Bibliophile series. I think it is. Bibliophile, yeah. Mysteries. And so far, it's okay. I haven't really gotten very far into it either. I'm 7% into it, so uh, I will tell you that a lot of my like free time, I've been, if you can see this over here, I've been trying to redo my shelf and put all my mystery horror thriller adult and young adult books here, and trying to incorporate like my older paperbacks and things that I have, and I'm trying to do it in like somewhat of an alphabetical order. Don't hold me to that, but somewhat of an alphabetical order. The stuff up here is just kind of sort of in the section, like this is C's, and so some of these are C's, and over there they're B's and stuff. So trying. And so I've been working on that a lot in my free time, so listening to audiobooks is just easier right now. And so I have been listening to a lot more audios. So, but anyway, I will pop back on here when I have something to talk about. Happy Thursday, everybody. It is a little after 10 o'clock in the morning, and I thought I'd come on here and talk to you about Rules of Prey by John Sanford. I finished this last night, but it was like at 10:30, and I had a really busy day yesterday, and I just didn't feel like coming on here and talking about it, so I'll talk about it now. This is the first book in the Lucas Davenport series, and it was a little different. I don't know what I was expecting, but it's such a beloved series. Like, I mean, there's like 30 of them, and it's still going. Because, like, I checked, and, like, there was one that comes out in 2022. So, I don't know. I think I was expecting something maybe a little different. I don't know. But the main character, he seems kind of like a jerk. So, I asked one of the ladies that I know that has read, like, all the books, and I think is close to being caught up, if not caught up, on the series. And she does say that he shows some character growth, like, as we go. And I just think it's a product of its time, and it's a little dated. So, Lucas Davenport, the detective, I mean, even his own people aren't real sure about him, it seems like, because at the beginning, he's under surveillance from Internal Affairs because somehow this killer that they have going around has gotten a hold of a weapon from the evidence room, and they are thinking that maybe it has something to do with a policeman, and for some reason they have him on their radar. And so that was kind of strange. Like, right off the bat, it's like he's not like the policeman that everybody loves, obviously, and he's also like a game designer. So I don't know if it's because he's like super, like, a lot smarter than some of the others that they don't like him or something. But yeah, and once that gets, taken care of and everything, he ends up being on the team that's trying to find this guy. And you know who it is. So this is definitely a thriller and not a mystery, because you know who it is. It's this guy that calls himself Mad Dog, and you know what his actual name is and who, where he works and all that kind of stuff. You're just watching the police try to solve it and everything. And he has these rules. He leaves a piece of paper with a rule written on it, like it says "never kill" here, and like the rest of that would be, never kill someone you know. And then another rule might be never use the weapon, or never leave with the weapon you use, or something like that. And because a lot of times he will leave the weapon there, or if he uses one to, like, stab them, he leaves the weapon in them. He doesn't ever take the weapon with him. So he's got, these different rules that he, like, tries to abide by and everything, while he's keeping the police on their toes. And since Lucas is a game player, he has decided to play a game with the killer, and it almost doesn't, it doesn't go quite the way he was hoping it was going to be. Like, there was an instant that they like thought it was going to work, and then something happened, and it just did not go quite the way he wanted it to go. But I thought it was kind of weird, because he's like a womanizer. Like, I mean, you can definitely tell this is like from like the 80s, early 90s. He's like such a womanizer, and it talks about how he loves women, and he's always got all these women, and he seems to have like 2 to 3 women on the go here. One of them pregnant with his child, yet he's still like seeing somebody else, and it's just like, you're a jerk. But he's really smart, and he knows how to play the game to try to make the killer mad enough to try to go after who he's wanting him to go after. Kind of, that's how he's trying to play the game, is appealing to, like, his the killer's, like, ego or whatever, having somebody say that he smelled like a pig farmer and that made him mad. And stuff like that. So he was doing things to make him agitated and mad and everything. But I would say it was just okay. I don't know if I really like Lucas Davenport. I think I'll have to read more to see if I will. Like, my friend says that he does get better, and I figure since it's still going, that there has to be some kind of changes in Lucas Davenport's attitude towards maybe women and stuff as the series progresses. But right now it's very, very dated with that kind of stuff, and he just seemed like quite the jerk. But I do have the next book, Shadow Prey, and it's on my TBR because with these, for my 2x2, I was reading 2 books in the same series, so book 1 and book 2. On my SAS list, this was one of the series that I wanted to start this year, and I told myself that if I started a new series, I had to read at least 2, and so that's why I'm doing it this way. I just don't know how it's going to go back to back because I'm not really liking this quite as much as I thought. I give it like 3.5 stars. I liked it, but there was just some things about it I just didn't like. So I'm not going to just jump right onto this one. I'm going to like put a little distance between. So there's still plenty of march to go to get to this one. I'm just not going to read it like right off the bat. So I think what I need is a middle grade book to put in between. So I'm going to start Charlie Thorne and the Lost City by Stuart Gibbs. It's the second book in the Charlie Thorne series, and it is like a middle grade mystery adventure. Sorry, it's a library book. It's very shiny. And this one is about Charlie Thorne, who is a child genius, and she is also a thief. And she, in the first one, is asked by the CIA to help them with a case. And some things happen at the end, and now I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with Charlie Thorne in this book and see how she gets herself out of trouble in this one. That's going to be the book that I'm going to add, but I'm still reading on this one. I have made some progress in it. I've got this much read. I'm really enjoying this one. It's one of my cozies. This is the latest book in the Scottish Bookshop Mysteries, yeah. And so I really like this one. I'm on the fence about this one. This is Homicide in hardcover. I'm still reading this one. I'm a little on the fence about this one. It's the ebook that I have going right now, and it's the first in the Bibliophile series, and it's a lot different cozy-wise as what I'm used to. It's from 2009, and it just has a different tone to it. And so I'm hoping that I'm going to end up liking it. I'm 15% into it, and we finally got to the murder part, which was a little sad, to be honest. And so I'm hoping now that it'll ramp up a little bit now that we have like the mystery part going. Because yes, as there are some people that love the cozy aspects of a cozy mystery with the town setting and all that, I'm really all about the mystery and the cozy. So I like my mystery to happen quite early. So I like the murder to be early and not like halfway through the book. So at least it's not too bad. 15% isn't too bad. So I'm excited now to try to figure out what happened. I think that's all the books that I have going right now. I tend to lose track. Hello everybody, it is Friday sometime in the early afternoon, and I thought I'd come on here because I finished Charlie Thorne and the Lost City by Stuart Gibbs. Now, this probably isn't one of my favorite series from Stuart Gibbs, but it's okay. This one just doesn't have, well, what am I wanting to say? The theme or the mystery or the adventure in this one has to do with Charles Darwin and evolution and things like that, which is just not something I'm into. I do not believe in evolution, and so therefore the storyline wasn't really something that I cared about, but it was still interesting. Charlie Thorne, now that I've gotten used to her, she is a 12-year-old genius who is also a thief. And her brother, who works for the CIA, he's like her half brother, like 16 years older than her, I think, something like that. And he, in the first book, he asked her for help to find a code that Albert Einstein had made. It was called Pandora, and so that's what she helped him with that, and get yourself into a little bit of trouble. And in this one, it's kind of the same thing. She is kind of relaxing and everything, and a lady come and ask her about this code that she has that was on a I think it was a Galapagos, how you say that, turtle that had died, and on the underside it had something that supposedly Charles Darwin had inscribed some kind of like rhyme or some kind of code to figure out, and they wanted her help. The only problem is that Charlie Thorne doesn't always. I mean, she's 12 years old, so she takes people like a grain of salt. Like she wants to believe in people, and she always ends up being betrayed by people. And there's always she needs to learn to look out for number one, because there's going to be always somebody after her because of how smart she is, and things that I can't talk about that happened in the first book. There is a reason why there are people chasing after her still, and will probably always be chasing after her. So she's always going to have to look after herself. It's kind of a mystery / adventure, because there is the mystery with like the codes, and she has to go and figure it out. I feel like she's like almost a young Indiana Jones type, or National Treasure type of person. And overall it was okay. I give it 3 stars. And this will get me caught up, so I can work on that one now, which is the arc that comes out in June of the 3rd book, which is called Charlie Thorne and the Curse of Cleopatra. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with that. At the end of this one, you kind of learn some things that it kind of ties everything together with like what Albert Einstein was doing and things like that, and you kind of find some things out. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with this one. I definitely like Cleopatra a whole lot more than Charles Darwin, so I am curious about that. I am still working on some of the other books, and I know I look tired, and I am tired, and I don't know why I'm tired, but it's just one of those days. It's snowing, it's nasty, it's cold, and I don't know, but it's just making me feel tired or something. I don't know, but I need a nap. But if I'm one of those people, I don't know if you guys are not like that, but if I take a nap, I cannot function. I cannot take a nap and function afterwards. Taking a nap is worse than the way I feel now. Like, I will feel even more groggy and more tired after trying to take a nap than just staying up and then going to bed at regular time, even though I'm droopy-eyed. So, yeah. But since I did finish a book, I will say that I did add in another book, and that is In the Woods by Tana French. This is my one book for the Irish Readathon, because I wanted to try to participate, and I asked them for an Irish author that writes mysteries, and they said that Tana French was, and this is the Dublin Murder Squad. But just because I knew it was the Dublin Murder Squad, I knew it was set in Ireland, but I didn't necessarily know that the author was Irish, and that's what they're wanting you to do, is to read Irish authors. So I think that's cool. I got this big chunky one because it's the only one the library had, and it's the large print edition. I also do have an audiobook so that I can follow along. And so yeah, and I am still working on Homicide in hardcover by the Cozy Mystery. So yeah, still got a lot of things going, and I don't know, I feel like I'm getting a little rambly, and I don't know, but I'm just going to say bye, and I will come back on whenever I have something else. Hello everybody, it is Saturday evening, almost 10 o'clock at night, and I thought I would come on here and wrap up the reading vlog for this week. I have 2 books to talk about that I finished. One of them I finished last night before I went to bed, and then one I finished today. And so I have How to Speak Dragonese by Cressida Cowell. This is the 3rd book in the How to Train Your Dragon series that me and Sherry are buddy reading, doing one a month. And so this one is the one for this month, and it was a lot of fun. It's just kind of, it's silly, cute, fun. It's just the misadventures of Hiccup. Is it Hiccup the Viking? Hiccup Hatticus something horrendous or something like that. And him and his friend Fishtail get into all kinds of disasters. In this one, they were supposed to be training how to like get on somebody else's boat, and they were supposed to take over a peaceable boat, and they ended up taking over, or trying to take over, a Roman boat with these big Roman guys, and get captured and everything. And so yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I would say, like, more or less the content in here would be like a 3.5 stars, but I listened to him on audiobook, and the narration by David Tennant is so good. He does the voices so well that I give it 4 stars. And then I finished Deadly Edition by Paige Shelton. And this was one that I was just kind of working on a little bit at a time. I had been working on it last week, and I had gotten pretty far in it, and I decided just to go ahead and finish it out. And I was reading it on some reading sprints and got super close. So I was like, oh, we'll just go ahead and finish it for tonight. And it was really good. It's the 6th book in the Scottish Bookshop series, and it's about Delaney, and she is an American who answered an ad for this in Scotland. There's this book place called the Crack Spine, and she went there to work there, and pretty much now the owner, Edwin, doesn't really work there anymore. He has put it into Delaney's capable hands and the people that work with her, and Edwin just kind of does his own thing because he doesn't need to, kind of like retired or whatever, but he's still the owner, but she's the main person. But in this one, she gets invited to go on a treasure hunt, and she talks to Edwin about it, and he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead, because it was supposed to be for a really old version of the Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And also this lady, Sheila's library, which I guess was pretty extensive. And so he said it was worth a shot to try to do it, so she went to do it. And then, of course, there is a murder, and then she's got to figure out what happened. The lady who had the library and everything that was putting on the treasure hunt is like kidnapped, and she has kind of a crazy past, so it's like, is she kidnapped or did she stage it, kind of a thing. So they have to kind of figure that out and try to figure out the clues to try to find the book as well. And so it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I should have, I think if I would have paid a lot more attention to certain things, I probably could have figured out who the killer was. But yeah, I was just enjoying my time with it, and I wasn't really trying to think of it. So yeah, I didn't guess the killer in this one, but I liked it. 4 stars. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and recap everything that I got to this week. I read 7 books. A lot of them were pretty short, but I had Totally Pawstruck by Sophie Ryan. I'm using it for March Mystery Madness because it is a 2-word title. Also, it is number 9 in the Second Chance Cat series, and so second and everything. I thought that went well with it too. I gave it 4 stars. Then I read Night Shift by Alex Finley, and it is a 2-word title as well, and it's also the second thriller that the author has written. So I did it that way, and I gave it 4 stars. And I have Rules of Prey by John Sanford. I wasn't quite as impressed with this as I was hoping to be. I didn't care for Lucas Davenport very well, so I gave it 3.5 stars, somewhere around there. I have been told that he's a better character later on, so we're going to hope for that. This is part of the double, because I haven't read the second book yet, but I have the first and the second book to read, so it's going to be there for March Mystery Madness. It's hanging there loosely by itself until I read the second one. And then I read Mr. Limoncello's Library Olympics. It's the second book in the Mr. Limoncello's Library series by Chris Grabenstein. And this is the second book, and I read the first book last week, so that's my March Mystery Madness prompt for that is I was going to read the first and second book in the series, which I did, and now I want to continue on with the series, and I may do that, but these are how I was going to do March Mystery Madness for them. Also, Limoncello is double L, so it works there too. And 4 stars. I think I might have forgot. And then I have Charlie Thorne and The Lost City by Stuart Gibbs. And I thought this one was okay, and I gave it 3 stars. And this was not actually on my TBR for March Mystery Madness, but Stuart Gibbs has 2 Bs, so there we go. And it's kind of like a mystery adventure type middle grade book. And then I have, of course, How to Speak Dragonese by Cressida Cow. And this isn't for March Mystery Madness, it's just a book that I was reading. And then Deadly Additions by Paige Shelton was not on my list for March Mystery Madness, but I don't know. How can we make it work here? There's a double T's in the Scottish bookshop, and there's 2 O's in the bookshop if I want to take it off of the title of the series instead of the actual book. But, well, there's 2 D's in Deadly. We'll just do that, yeah. There we go. Made it fit. Because it wasn't on my TBR for this month either. There we go. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.